Hey guys, before we start stitching the mushroom handprint keepsake, we are going to separate our embroidery thread into 3 strands. You are then going to pinch the thread in between your thumb and index finger and take it through the eye of your needle, and you're going to bring it so that it hangs down about 3/4 of the way, and then on the longer end of the thread we are going to tie a knot. Try to get the knot as close to the end of the thread as possible. I like to take it in between my fingers and roll it to the end and then pull it tight. Now that our thread is ready, we're ready to start stitching. For the mushroom, we're going to start with the stem, and we're going to be doing satin stitch. So we're going to bring our needle up at the top of the first side, and then directly across on the other side of the stem, we are going to bring our needle back down. Go ahead and bring your needle through the fabric and then pull it tight so that your thread is taut on the fabric. We are then going to go back to that first side, and we're going to bring our needle up directly below our previous stitch. And then we're going to do the same thing, making a straight stitch to the other side right underneath our previous stitch. We're going to do it once more. Going back to that first side, we're going to bring our needle up and then back down on the other side directly below our previous stitches. And this is satin stitch. It's going to look like satin. It's going to have a nice, like, cohesive kind of flat look. Just make sure that you're bringing your needle up and back down directly below each time. The bottom of the mushroom has a bit of a rounded look, so we're going to make a slightly smaller stitch to account for that, and it's going to look like this. Now we're going to stitch the top of the mushroom, and I'm switching to this red thread. I'm still going to be using 3 strands, and we're going to do satin stitch, but we're not going to do a satin stitch across the whole top of the mushroom. We're going to stop where the dots are, and I'll explain why that's important. So for this very first stitch, I'm going to bring my needle back down in the middle of the bottom of the mushroom. I'm doing this because I don't want really long strands of thread for this mushroom top, because I'm going to be doing French knots on top of it, and if you have a long satin stitch, your knots are going to kind of fall in between the stitches. So instead we're going to make small satin stitches stopping where the dots are each time, and it's a bit like brick stitch if you've ever done brick stitch, but it's just a tad different. So we're going to make straight stitches forming a satin stitch on the entire mushroom, leaving spots for those dots. And then we're going to go back through and do French knots where those spots are. So we're going to bring our needle up and do French knots in the middle of each dot. So we're going to bring our needle up, and then holding it with our left hand, or right if you're left-handed, we're going to wrap it around our needle, hold it tight with that left hand, and then pull it through to the back of the fabric. So we're going to do that one more time. Slow down. So bring your needle up, and then with your non-dominant hand you're going to hold it and wrap it, and then hold it once again with that left hand, bring it back the same spot you entered, and pull it tight. For the palm leaves, we're going to bring our needle up and we're going to do a stem stitch. So we're going to skip ahead about 1/4 of a centimeter, and then we're going to bring our needle back down. We are then going to bring our needle up where we first entered the fabric, and then we're going to pull our thread tight. Now we're going to skip forward another 1/4 of a centimeter, and we're going to bring our needle back down, and then when we bring our needle up this time, it's going to be at the end of our previous stitch in the middle of this loop. And then we're going to pull tight. We're going to continue doing this, bringing our needle down and then back up at the end of our previous stitch, and this is going to form a stem stitch. And then when you're done with the stitch, you're just going to bring your needle to the back of the fabric. For the leaves, we are going to do small straight stitches, so we're going to bring our needle up and then back down the length of the leaf. And then I actually am going to do this a second time so that it gives some dimension to the leaves. I'm going to do a straight stitch over my previous straight stitch. You're going to do that for every leaf. You're going to do 2 layers of straight stitches. For the greenery, we already put our stem stitch in place, and now we're going to do lazy daisies for each leaf. At the bottom of the leaf, you're going to bring your needle up and then back down, and you're going to pull it so that it leaves a little loop, and then you're going to bring your needle up in the middle of the loop and pull it tight, and then on the outside of that leaf, we're going to bring our needle back down. It's important to go on the outside so that it leaves a little loop to lock that stitch in place. To add a fuller look to the leaf, we're going to do a straight stitch in the middle of our lazy daisy. So just bring your needle up and then back down at the top of the leaf. And we're going to do this for every leaf. You're going to make a lazy daisy stitch for each leaf, and then you're going to go back through and do a straight stitch in the middle of each lazy daisy. For the leaves, we're going to do leaf stitch. So we're going to bring our needle up and then back down in the middle of the leaf. Pull that stitch tight, and then we're going to bring our needle up on the left or right side, it doesn't matter. You're going to bring it up on the left side of your stitch, and then we're going to bring it back down underneath our previous end of our stitch. And then after that, we're going to go on the opposite side, and we're going to do the same thing, bringing our needle down in the middle underneath our previous stitch. And then you're going to keep doing this, alternating sides each time, and it's going to make a little leaf. When you feel like your leaf is full enough and you come to the end of your template, then you're going to just bring your needle back down. For the words, we're going to be using 6 strands of thread for a little bit more of a chunky look, and we're going to be doing back stitch. So you're going to bring your needle up and then back down about 1/4 of a centimeter. Pull that tight. And then after that, we're going to bring our needle up another 1/4 of a centimeter, pull your thread up, and then we're going to go back down at the end of our previous stitch. This is called back stitch because you go back to your previous stitch. So you're going to bring your needle down and try to make your stitches the same length every single time. So once again, we're going to bring it forward 1/4 of a centimeter and then back down to our previous stitch. You're going to keep stitching with back stitch, and when you get to the dot in between the name and the number, you're going to tie off your thread and then restart again when you get to the number. To back your embroidery hoop, you can use a fun fabric to put on the back just to cover up your stitching. That's what I like to do. This is not something that you have to do, but I went ahead and put that pattern fabric on the back, and then I'm tightening my embroidery hoop. Make sure that you tighten the edges and pull your fabric so everything is taut. Now I'm going to teach you how to do running stitch. So you're going to bring your needle through the very back of the fabric, and then we're going to bring our needle in the fabric, out the fabric, in the fabric, out the fabric, and it creates this running stitch. So once again, we're going to pull it through the fabric and then out the fabric, not pulling it completely, doing it on the surface, and then afterwards we're going to tie it tight. I hope you enjoy stitching this project. You can find my pattern and tutorial in my Etsy shop and tag me in your hoop on Instagram.